Howdy, y'all. Welcome to Liberty Libations number 75. There it is. Hey, Grumpy. Welcome to the show. My name is Jake Green, joined as usual by Alden, Hardee, Stephen Hilton, and our off-air but now on-air producer, Zach Varnell.
Off on air.
Off on air. Alden, what are you pouring right there?
It's a sour from Three Taverns, which I think is what makes it sour. Usually bacteria.
They deliberately ruin the beer during fermentation. They throw lactobacillus in the fermenter, and that's what it's named. It's literally soured.
Lactobacillus is like the most common strain.
So it's like Kevin from The Office drinking lemon milk is basically
what I hear is that it's good for you.
Yeah, it's good for you. The gut biome.
I drink stuff with that in there on purpose.
Mm-hmm. Are you talking right? So it's basically like beer kombucha.
It's like a probiotic beer. Yeah, I don't know. Just trying to be healthy. Drink 6 probiotic beers a day.
Hannah says she loves the beginning of the show because it's drink ASMR.
That's right.
That's right with this. Stephen, what are you drinking?
Still repping the local stuff. Pearl and Pine out of Sonoya. That's my new favorite brewery.
Such a sick bottle or can.
I know. It's a really cool logo. So
yeah, that's amazing.
They got a really good West Coast. They actually have a seltzer that Mary likes that isn't that bad.
Sweet.
Yeah,
I love drinking things that aren't that bad. My go-to beverage.
As seltzers go, gotcha. I don't feel myself becoming more feminine as I drink it.
Gotcha. It's just a natural thing that happens to you.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. Zach, what are you drinking?
I have the world's okayest drink.
The world's best beer. How about that? All right, Miss Guinness for Mr. Zach Varnell. I'm drinking. It's a barrel-aged stout called Dragon's Milk.
Oh yeah, the hard stuff.
Saw it in the store the other day and was like, I've never had it. Got to try it. And
it used to be hard to get, and now they just distro everywhere. Apparently,
11% friggin' alcohol. It's great.
There's a white one too that's really good. It's like a vanilla flavor.
It's actually white.
The label.
No, the beer's still a stout, but the bottle's white.
I'd like the label. To try white beer.
Is it a milk stout?
Hannah's questioning your background, Zach. Tell her that that's actually how you designed your house. It's legit.
Yeah, I'm on remote location right now.
In Hobbiton.
He's in Conor McGregor's basement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, y'all. Well, any updates from y'all's personal lives that you want to reveal on Libations tonight, or should we just get straight to the lack of news coverage?
I forgot to mention my second drink, which is Colonel E.H. Taylor. It was my birthday bourbon, so.
There we go.
Okay, then.
Wait, your birthday is at the end of the month.
It's next weekend, but Haley's brother sent it up with her parents here, so I got it a week early. But
gotcha. Yeah. That ain't bad. All right, well,
happy good
birthday. We'll give you a proper one next week.
I got something.
What?
I'll be on Liberty, I'm on Liberty Libations now. I'll be on the propaganda report after this show tonight, so tune in.
I'll be on Liberty Libations too.
Okay. I love the propaganda report. If y'all don't know propaganda report, it's Brad Binkley's show. That dude is so intelligent and is able to analyze
and well researched
very small events extremely well, and he does his research hardcore.
Yeah.
I listened to an episode a few nights ago live, and man, his whole story, with his mom and confronting the doctors when she was diagnosed and they wouldn't treat her the proper way. Man, his life is wild. He's such a good dude. Love Brad Binkley. He's been on the show multiple times, and I'm sure we'll have him.
He's
back.
Fun to have on, man. Yeah.
Are y'all talking about anything specific, Zach?
Yeah, he wanted to get the lowdown on the convention. So I guess just since I've been to a few of them and kind of keeping up more than him, talk about that. And he may be joining us. So.
Okay, sweet.
He's got press credentials now. He just has to get there.
Yes. I mean, I don't know what it actually takes to get press credentials, but I mean, I do too. I printed this off a few years ago.
Well, I just screenshotted it, so I have one now too.
Yeah, I don't think there's any official body that gives out press credentials, but like I make documentaries, like, and I do a show about politics and the news. That should pretty much cover me.
Yeah, well, this one was through the Libertarian website, so probably the easiest one to get possible.
Well, y'all, before we get started, tonight's episode is brought to you by Rabbit Eye Wine. This little fella right there in my background. Is it going to pop up? There we go. Rabbit Eye Wine, the blueberriest and tastiest wine in all of Georgia. It is absolutely delicious. In fact, I have a bottle right here. They have got 5 different flavors, I believe, and they are all delicious. Highly recommend if you live in Georgia. If you don't, you can order it online. Otherwise, go to your local retailer, pick it up because it's really, really good stuff. And they are the first sponsor of the show. Very appropriate sponsor considering this is all about libations.
Yeah. And I brought up this page because at their farm they sell wine slushies, so that would be good this summer.
Yeah, have you had those? They look amazing.
I would do that.
Should we go do? Man, we should do the 9/11 debate at Bell Farms and just get hammered on.
Would anyone take us seriously though if all of our teeth are blue for the whole talk? Like,
okay, that's a good point. Yeah, that's such a good point. Yeah, only clear alcohols when we do the 9/11 debate.
Yeah. No red wine, no blueberry wine.
All right,
sorry,
y'all. Will. Hang on one second. Sorry about that. Dogs are scratching at the door. They're driving me.
I didn't hear anything, at least.
All right, let's get into our first story of the evening. Ukraine suspends elections indefinitely. Go ahead and click play on this.
The shock.
Yeah, so shocking.
Working with the government and civil society groups to shore up Ukraine's election infrastructure. That way, as soon as Ukrainians agree the conditions allow, all Ukrainians, including those displaced by Russia's aggression, can exercise their right to vote. People in Ukraine and around the world can have confidence that the voting process is free, fair, secure. Working with the government and civil society.
Goodness gracious. All right, so basically that's Antony Blinken. He's over in Ukraine, I believe, right now. He's the dude is such a twerp. He's basically saying that until Russia gives back the areas of Ukraine that they have captured,
that there will be
all
no
Ukrainians can vote in the election. There will be no election. I don't even know what to say. Like, why do people? First of all, why are people so misguided in thinking that Ukraine is some bastion of democracy? Because they're one of the most corrupt places on earth.
Right. But before the Russian aggression, it was like the child trafficking hub of the world, where most identity fraud took place.
Yep.
Hacking, cyber crimes, they were the hub of that too.
The CIA is basically just using it as a base at one point in time.
And why is an American politician commenting on the Ukrainian elections right now?
Great question.
Why is he the one breaking that news?
Where is Zelensky? I haven't seen or heard from Zelensky in a while.
He might be filming another gay porno. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing. But y'all, like the fact that they are suspending the elections should really send up red flags for everybody. But what it's going to do for the people who support this idiotic war is it's going to be like, well, yeah, we have to. Like, you can't allow elections if not everybody can vote, because then it's not a free and fair election. That's going to be the argument, which there's no such thing as a free and fair election, like in any country, let alone one of the most corrupt countries on earth.
Yeah, that sounded a lot like the whole safe and effective tagline to me.
Oh, safe and like the vaxes?
Yeah. It's going to be free and fair, guys. Don't and secure.
Oh, and secure.
Yeah. Secure.
And we
Yeah,
can't go on with democracy until everyone has one.
Yeah, secure, just like your borders are right now, Ukraine. That's exactly how your election's going to be.
That's exactly right.
No foreign interference at all.
No. So the question then becomes, when will that actually happen? And at what point will elections actually take place in the future? Because I don't.
And will it matter?
And will it matter? I don't see Russia giving back land. I don't think that's going to happen.
No.
I think the only way that this conflict ends is if some peace resolution is made and everybody just keeps the territory that they currently have, because half the people half the territories that the Russians captured already wanted to be in Russia anyway.
Yeah.
I think
they actually voted freely and fairly to do so.
but see, when they did that, that was a threat to democracy. It's not the same thing. See, if people who are for the bad thing that's happening don't get their way, then everything else is a threat to democracy. That's basically what the rule is these days. I don't know.
What was it George Bush said? It's like we had to just, I don't know, he didn't say destroy, but it's like we had to destroy the free market to save the free market. Exactly what they're doing. It's like we had to completely ignore democracy so that we can save democracy. In order to save
democracy, yeah.
Exactly right.
Of course.
Yeah, I don't know. They've been promoting this idea that Ukraine is a bastion for democracy for the past, year and a half now, that they've been under attack. And with a country that suspends their elections, how are they going?
Bans political parties.
And bans political parties and attacks certain types of Christians.
Bans news, like certain outlets. It's
like at what point, how deep in the sand does your head have to be buried until you realize that like most of the things you're hearing about Ukraine are untrue or just a straight up lie?
Or any other story.
Yeah. I mean, I was watching this video the other day where the guy was like, it like every single time I say I know what happened with something, if I wait 10 years, I was completely wrong every single time. If it was a world event or something that happened in another country or even something that happened in our country. Mm-hmm. So he's like, basically you have to wait about 30 years to actually find out the truth about anything. And so all these people who, as soon as news is announced by one of the major corporations, they jump on that. That's their thing. That's their rallying cry. They believe it entirely. We just have a population that's so well trained by our idiot propagandists in our government and our media that it's, I mean, every now and then I'll get super black-pilled with this. This is the kind of stuff where I go down a deep hole.
Well, yeah. Because all these news agencies cite each other.
Yeah.
So like one of them will lead with a narrative. Oftentimes if it's about domestic politics, it's Politico. They just race to be first. They don't care if they're right ever. They just want to be first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then somebody else will quote them, and somebody else will quote them. And after 4 or 5 of these so-called sources, and even though you read their stories and it just says sources say.
Yeah.
Sources say.
What source? Oh, we're the source. Oh, okay. We say.
The source circle jerk.
Yeah. And so then they start quoting each other, and then it just becomes official.
Yeah.
Then it just gets added.
Then it becomes accepted, like widely accepted, and like, I don't know, unofficially official or whatever. Yeah.
It reminds me of, did you ever watch the show The Newsroom?
I was going to mention it was an episode in this.
It was an Aaron Sorkin show.
Yeah.
Where it's about a newsroom that happens. I forget, it's like 2007, 2008 time frame is when that show takes place. And he's all like, the show is all about like journalistic integrity. Like it's better to be
late and right.
Yes.
Than early and wrong. And I was going to mention the whole thing about the, like, what is it? The mustard gas or the whatever.
Yeah. sarin gas.
Sarin gas. Yeah. That whole episode. And that was the one time that someone on their team pulled the trigger too early.
Yeah.
And it was wrong. But, I was thinking of the same thing.
The most ironic thing about that is this was during the Ron Paul run. Okay. So the whole show is about journalistic integrity and being right and not fast. They did an entire episode where they just said Ron Paul was a racist old man. That's it. Like Perfect. That was the whole thing. Like he's just a racist old man. You should never vote for him. They made the person in the show who was a Ron Paul supporter a drunken bimbo.
That's like the fluoride episode in Parks and Rec, where you can just tell that episode is just this is just going to be the propaganda episode this season. Like,
well, I mean, I just found it funny because like Parks and Rec doesn't really try to hide it. They're not preaching about
the opposite
of what they're doing, which this show was preaching about being right when it comes to journalism, and here they are being completely incorrect.
It's still TV. It's still Hollywood bullshit. Like, I will say that, like, all in all, it's frustrating just trying to find something to like it, anymore. But I did like a lot of the show, but there were episodes that would annoy me, and that was definitely an aspect that was frustrating.
And now the Democrat is a racist old man, and everyone's fine with it.
Right.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Oh, the schools are being integrated. I don't want to send my kid to the concrete jungle.
Oh, boy.
That's a quote.
Yeah, at this point, I think you're actually better off if you do have your head in the sand than if you just listen to corporate media.
Right.
Like being aloof, at least from media, is like almost like a barrier of protection.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
I mean,
interesting.
It's like you're getting bad information from them. That's better than no information. Like talk to somebody who's been under a rock and they're like, Ukraine, no, whatever. We don't need they're not us.
If you have like 20-year-old information on Ukraine, you're like, what? No, what? There? Why? Yeah. Her?
Well, and a prime example of this is like, so President Biden recently came to Morehouse College in Atlanta.
Okay.
It's a predominantly black college.
Yeah.
So, he came there to speak, and if you do a Google search, the top 10 news they're praising his visit. It's like, oh, he came to actually, go under fire for his policy in Israel and the Gaza Strip. And, these are the kind of things that are really important to the black community. But then you hear, local radio and people from Morehouse College are coming on the Shelley Winter show. And they're like, he's just using us as a mouthpiece and we don't want him here.
Mm-hmm.
None of us are better off since he's been in. We don't like the guy.
Dude, that was so clear when Trump came in for his arraignment or whatever that was, and the streets were lined with people. Like people were chasing him down the street, like cheering.
Not just anywhere, in like Bankhead.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like I don't like Trump, but it was interesting to see the stark difference between his visit and Biden's visit.
Or interesting to see the difference between the media portrayal from one side to another of the same event or something.
Yeah. I guess at what point do we just live in an information deluge and no one can ever get on the same page? This is why I think this is why I tend to call the internet just basically the Tower of Babel, like the New Age Tower of Babel, where we can all speak, but no one's speaking the same language. No one's speaking the same ideas. No one has any idea what's going on outside of their little circle.
No one has the same like paradigm of reality.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, what does this do to a culture? Does it just throw it into even more disarray than it already was? Like, does it keep us going down a terrible path? Like what? I don't know where.
Yes and no.
Yeah.
It's more of a rift.
Yeah.
Those that are susceptible one way.
Yeah.
They go that way. And
I agree.
Those that put in effort, that use the internet deliberately as a tool.
Right.
They tend to go the other way. They enrich themselves with it.
Here. I agree.
Either actually making money or making yourself smarter or more informed or whatever. It takes effort, and it's all the hands of the end user. Because there's market forces providing either way.
Yeah.
So is it just your pacifier? Is it just your way to kill time and disconnect from reality, hey, there's plenty of websites for you, plenty of games you can play.
Yep.
Are you actually looking for information? It's there. You got to dig a little harder these days.
You got to look though. Yeah. Especially more and more in the past, like 5 years or so, like it's been really hard. You have to like, there are things that I know they exist. And I'm like, oh, what was that one thing that I was looking at before? It's hard to find the thing I know exists somewhere at this point. Yeah.
Just doing like a search engine search it's just so much information. It's always about the topic that I'm not trying to search for.
It's so heavily skewed now.
Well, it's definitely the major search engines these days are politically driven.
Yes.
Meanwhile, there's millions and millions of documents and books and resources that are on actual academic archives. Things that end in .edu and .org and things like that. Those are the actual information resources that if you're going to write an essay, you can actually use as a source in your bibliography.
Yeah.
Stuff you're going to hit from Google and Bing, and I don't know if Lycos is still around, but or if you're going to ask Jeeves,
ask Jeeves.
I really
miss
Jeeves. Jeeves was
right.
Jeeves should have won out instead of Google. Ask Jeeves. Yeah, go ask Jeeves what that does. That's so much better than saying go Google it.
Yeah, but the CIA didn't give Ask Jeeves their technology, so
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it is crazy. Like,
sorry, Zane.
DuckDuckGo came out with their search engine as a competitor and like an anti-Google, and then within 3 years, they're announcing, oh yeah, we're down-ranking certain misinformation.
Yeah. I know. I used to use them.
Because they won't be hosted if not.
They're
between Google and Amazon, that's 3/4 of today's internet.
Yeah.
So if they don't want you to have something up there, all they got to do is say, "Hey, you want your domain? This is what you're going to do."
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to start throttling
Rumble
your bandwidth.
has server hosting now, and then also we used to get by in the old days, people running it in their closets or in their data center or whatever. Now it does seem to be like, oh, I can't use AWS, so I'm screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would prefer not to use AWS. Like our website is on AWS. Can't do anything about it. Like I don't have my own server yet. Eventually we'll have our own server and we won't ever be taken down, and we'll put everything on the blockchain and our voices will live forever.
Yeah.
Wow. We got so far off topic.
We're already on Odyssey. So we're on the library blockchain. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. We're on the library blockchain. Although I'm having trouble with Odyssey. It keeps deleting the episodes after they air, so I don't really know what to do about that. But
does it?
Yeah, I don't know why. We'll figure that out later. I don't know. It was a slow news week for me. I deleted every single social media app from my phone, and so I'm trying to find new ways to find the news, basically. Yeah, slow news week for me. But this was the first thing that popped into my brain, that just like the amount of celebration of democracy and how democracy is just held over our head all the time. And it's basically just a religion or a god to a whole bunch of people. And then the country that everybody on the left or far left, I guess, who's been fighting to help now is no longer a democracy, is just hilarious. Not that it ever was, but now it's
democracy.
Like, not.
It's just a placeholder word now for things I like or things I think are good.
Yeah.
Like they're not actually talking about a system of government. They're just like, oh, that's anti-democratic if I don't like it. And it's democracy if I do like it. Just like the word fascism or racism or whatever else. They've ruined them to just mean like, are you with us or are you against us?
Yeah.
If you're against us, we'll call
Nazi.
you slurs. If you're not, we'll call you good things.
Democracy is the new fat with a PH. Basically,
people even will say things about our own country and describe it as a democracy, and I'm like, that's not even 100% right. You know what I mean? Like we don't even have a full democracy when you have the electoral college system and yada yada. It's not even really a democracy anyway.
What I wonder is like why do people think that democracy is like the end all of political systems? Like this is the pinnacle. You can't get any better than democracy. It's like at some point
we were raised in a so-called democracy that sent us to re-education camps as kids where we learned all this.
That's true. But like if you did any type of analytical thinking or just like looking back on what you learned, like self-analyzing, at what point do you get to where it's like, oh, let's start questioning things and just make sure that what we're doing is the correct thing? Because I don't know about y'all, but I'm a Christian. I question my faith regularly. I definitely question being a libertarian all the freaking time, and making sure that the principles that I'm talking about are true and good and helpful.
That's a good practice.
It's exhausting, though. I think that's part of why people don't do it.
But this comes back to like what Stephen was saying, where it's like it takes extra energy and effort and work to put in to check your vector all the time and like make sure that what you're finding is accurate and like actually follow that, you know, look up that source and like check it out on your own and like go to a different site than, you know, not be spoon-fed it. And I feel like this is the same kind of thing that he was saying, where certain types of people are going to gravitate to the easy road with that, and certain types of people are going to be more, you know, have that proclivity or whatever to like actually look into it deeper. And neither is necessarily wrong. And in a perfect world, you would be able to kind of do the Cliff Notes thing with your news or whatever, or just like trust that something, you know, still made sense, or that your party still held to the principles that it said that it did 10 years ago or whatever. But we don't live in that perfect world. And so that's why I feel like people like us are finding themselves having to do this work. Like,
yeah, well, and we're increasingly rare, you know, which is really weird.
Are we increasingly rare, or are our voices just getting stomped out increasingly high rates? Like we were just talking about, you know, I wonder even, I don't know. I don't want to disagree with you. I just,
that's a good
challenge.
Counter. Yeah. I mean, there's
perception of the rarity of it. I don't know, but
both of those things could be true.
I mean, are you rare in your friend group even besides Jake?
Yeah.
So
I do. Yeah. No, I think there's a lot of validity in what you're saying.
I'm rare in my friend group. I mean,
you're one of a kind, Jake.
I have 6 best friends, and me and one other guy agree on most of this. And then I argue like crazy with the others.
Yeah.
Hey, propaganda report. Hey, we were just singing your praises, propaganda. We were just singing your praises, buddy. Looking forward to seeing Zach on the show later. Yeah. Well, that's all I got for this one. Let's go talk about Pat Tillman. I haven't thought about Pat Tillman in a very long time. So let's.
Is it just me, or the older Aaron Rodgers gets, he looks more like Mark Hamill?
Dude, I can totally see
really
it. It's like Jake Gyllenhaal and Mark Hamill had like a weird NFL baby.
Right.
I like it. I like that. Yeah, that's good.
That's pretty funny, man.
All right, go ahead and hit play on this.
My grandfather, though, he, you know, I didn't get to know him that well, but I do know that he always questioned and believed that that Roosevelt knew about the Japanese coming, and that always stuck with him because he. You know, he was super patriotic. And another one of my heroes, Pat Tillman, who left the NFL to join the Army, you know, his death is very suspicious as well, in that, not the fact we know that he was killed by friendly fire, but the way they handled his body afterwards, his uniform, confiscating his last journal, using his death to prop up the war propaganda. There's been a lot of great people in history who are super patriotic, who've questioned their government, and I think that's what I've done since since I was a kid.
And pardon my ignorance, I didn't even know that about Tillman's journal. So that was confiscated by the
his uniform was burned, and his journal was confiscated. That's in John Krakauer's book, Where Men Win Glory, which is a fantastic book. And one of my best friends in the entire world, AJ Hawk. AJ grew his hair out, him and his buddy, in 2004 as an ode to Pat, because Pat always had long hair, played for the Cardinals, left a multi-million-dollar contract to go fight Al-Qaeda and Taliban. Gets over there and is like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm guarding these poppy fields. This is not what I signed up for. I miss my wife. I miss being in the States. This is not what I thought we were going to be doing over here. And then some really negligent maneuvers happened and split up his unit, and he ended up being with
one of the members of the Afghani army who was their kind of guide. And, a guy saw the guy in some dim lighting on the ridge who was with Pat. They fired on him. Obviously, Pat and the Afghani thought that they were getting fired on by Taliban, so fired back, and ended up Pat got killed. His brother was not told right away that it was friendly fire. It's all in the book. It's a fascinating book. It's one of the only books I've ever cried reading, just because it's so. John's an incredible writer. He wrote Into Thin Air. He wrote Into the Wild. He wrote Under the Banner of Heaven.
I read those three. I never read the Tillman book.
Yeah, the Tillman book is incredible. But I don't know why I'm bringing this up. Just that there's so many people that really love this country that got disenfranchised. I think that's part of it.
Who've been betrayed by their leaders.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Operation Red Wings. That comes to mind.
What's Red Wings?
So have you ever seen the movie Lone Survivor?
Yep.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. That's the basis of that. Is Operation Red Wings.
Gotcha.
So they got caught. They were trying to just do a covert mission. They got caught. They needed help. They called in air support, and Obama himself said, "Nope."
Mm. Perfect.
All right. But yeah, the Tillman thing's interesting though, because from what I read, he had 3 bullets to the back of the head.
In the head from
that's not
close range,
like 10 feet, 10 yards, somewhere in there.
That's what it was. Yeah. So I think it was the coroner or whatever. Someone that had looked at him said that this was a close range shot with a small grouping to the head. And what, I don't want to necessarily disagree with, what Aaron Rodgers or the writer of this book was saying, but that sounded like, oh, who is that way over there? And shooting in some skirmish across where you mistake someone's identity. That's not 10 yards. You don't mistake a whole group of people from 10 yards. Anyway,
so they call it friendly fire because they were training the Afghan coalition forces. And then these guys just one day just turn and kill the American soldiers.
But then, okay, they also
that's not friendly fire. That's what I'm talking. I've talked about this before.
Oh, right.
Because these guys to them they're fighting a holy war. And they have, religious doctrines, whether they're Shia or Sunni, they have the concepts of Taqiyya or Maruna. I forget which one is which sect, but it's the concept of stealth. They have a religious duty to infiltrate the infidel, get in with your society, climb the ranks, and take out your power structure.
Interesting.
Well, anyway, yeah, there was a lot of lies about it. There's a lot of cover-ups about it, and
what else do you know about it, Alden?
So it was only after the funeral that they then at least declared it friendly fire, or at least acknowledged the situation, because they couldn't keep a lid on what was being said about it.
Yeah.
So it was the family that was like, this doesn't add up, and blah blah blah, and I think Pat Tillman's brother was also in the forces at the same time, and he was saying that this is not how it went down, and so the government basically had to be like, oops, yeah, no, we lied, it was this situation, and then only told then half the story that time, and then they confiscated his journal and burned his uniform.
That's
and then
wild.
Pat Tillman,
that's not a normal thing they do.
No, well, it's not, it shouldn't be
they don't burn soldiers' uniforms after that.
No,
it's not a thing.
No, unless they're trying to hide something.
Yeah,
I don't even know what at this point. Poppy residue, I don't know what the hell. And but Pat Tillman himself was like, I do not want to be a martyr, and if I die, he's on record somewhere before he died saying, I do not want to be made into some kind of weird hero thing and paraded my body around and build a statue for me and whatever. He's like, that's not why I'm over here. And that's what they fucking did. It was so disingenuous.
Exactly what
happened.
I'm guessing that was what was in the journal. That's got to be one of the things that was in the journal.
Oh, he was probably talking about, because he got in after the 9/11 thing. This is how I know about this a little bit. Is it ties into the 9/11 kind of narrative in a way. I'm not an expert on the Pat Tillman thing though, but he went over thinking he was going to fight Al Qaeda and Osama bin Laden, and even that is, we could get into that another day. But that's what makes more sense for 9/11. And then they started pitching the whole Saddam Hussein Iraq shift, and the weapons of mass destruction like under his kitchen or whatever the hell, And he was like, I'm not having this. And he is a public figure, so he was on a pro football team, the Cardinals or whatever. And I think the government was worried that he disagreed and had a following of people that would listen to him. And I wonder if they offed him. But
I would have listened to him. Like, I was a huge Pat Tillman fan at the time.
There you go.
Yeah, that was back when I was all in on NFL football.
04?
Yeah.
03, somewhere where he was last. Yeah.
Propaganda report says Aaron Rodgers and Harrison Butker need to start an expansion team together. That is, that is so good. We'll visit that Harrison Butker speech during this episode because it was
Is that a kicker, Harrison Butker?
Yeah, it's KC's kicker.
Yeah. Okay.
And his team doxed him too.
Doxed him.
They tweeted out like Kansas the city he lived in.
Oh wow!
Yeah, not the team, but the city, like the city of Atlanta, the city of Kansas City did it.
Okay.
They put just a reminder that Harrison Butker lives in the city of Lee's Summit. It's like, I guess they're like, we're not claiming him, but also that's kind of, who knows how big that city is. It's not.
Right. That's wild. We'll get to the Harrison Butker thing, but
I don't know anything about that.
Hannah also says Jake is no longer all in with football, which is why he won a fantasy championship in years. Thank you for that, Hannah.
Yeah.
Hannah is in one of my fantasy leagues. Yeah, just so you know. Me and Alden.
Hannah beat me once.
Right. I haven't won since 2010. So going on 14
my
years.
last fantasy victory was when RG3 made his playoff run.
Oh, dear God. Yeah, that's terrible too.
Nice.
Yeah, it's just this was back before social media was a huge thing.
Yeah.
Right when it was during the MySpace era. It was right when
Facebook was like
launching, but they only were available for college students.
Yes, I was going to say in their like Ivy League days or whatever.
And so like people who already had notoriety or had a platform or were able to talk to the press like Tillman was. He was he was the most talked about human in the NFL for like 2 years. Like before he
volunteered
died.
to leave and then died in a non-normal way. And so he was
If he had come out and started saying things that was contrary to what the government wanted out there, I would have no doubt that they would have done something to stop that from happening.
Or how about the wide receiver from the Saints a couple of years ago tweeting about Margaret Sanger was pen pals with Hitler, and Planned Parenthood is here to kill black people.
Not untrue.
Yeah, but he was active on the roster and tweeting that stuff, and everyone's like, "Yo,
which receiver was this?"
It was it's Googleable. I don't have them on the top of my head right now.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but he was with the Saints at the time.
Okay, interesting. So I don't know. It was just interesting. I hadn't thought about Pat Tillman in a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And Rodgers bringing it back up on Tucker Carlson's show was just brought everything flooding back. And I remembered all the things because that was back when I was huge supporter of George Bush and the war and all that good stuff. So I was saying it in a completely different light than now looking back on it, saying. And
it was interesting hearing you say that you're like, I might have listened to him, and I wonder if then Jake might have been partially swayed, by what he had to say. If he was like, "Yo, this is effed up over here. I'm guarding poppy fields," and
I was not privy to any information like that. I wasn't watching the news or anything. I was watching sports. That's basically it. Sports and movies. And so there was no one in the NFL or in any of those spaces that I was in talking against the war and talking the negative sides of the war and talking all this stuff. It was all supporting George Bush, supporting, what we're doing over there, all that kind of stuff. And so if somebody who I respected had come out and said stuff like that, that could have changed things for sure.
It would have flipped me sooner. I would have spit out my freedom fries and paid attention.
But also, we were like, what, 16 to 18 at the time?
Yeah.
I was 18.
14 in my case.
And I had 3 friends over there and a brother. So I was, don't you disrespect the flag.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Well, it's that time. All right. We got to get, what is it?
Wait.
Utility?
Yeah, I don't hear it.
I hear it.
I'm not playing if I don't hear it.
All right, everybody. It is Libations Trivia. Let me share my screen. Boom. Got a new setup tonight. There we go. How about that?
Oh, nice.
Rather than Nick, I'm going to type in Zach. All right, everybody. Libations Trivia. I updated the fonts. I couldn't figure out. I didn't have time to update the entire slide to make it as cool.
So we went
as
like
Zane did.
Jurassic Park-esque now.
Yeah, kind of feels like that. So yeah, Zane is off of this show every third Thursday of the month, basically. So
the third Thursday.
Yeah, he's got a engagement he has to go to every third Thursday of the month. So he is not hosting trivia during those days. I will be hosting during those days, which is today. All right, y'all.
I don't know why that cracked us.
It is Libations Trivia. The categories are This Day in History, N64, and Mustangs.
The car or the horse?
Or the WNBA team.
That's a good question.
Oh,
I did not think that one through, but it's the horse.
Okay.
The winner is no longer a loser. There's 3 rounds of questioning. Yada yada yada. Audience, you can win as well.
How much horsepower does a horse have?
1.
Actually, like almost 3.
What?
Oddly enough, yeah.
Horses are stronger than they used to be.
Explain yourself. Why?
Because it was the way the definition was written. The horse was not being stressed to maximum output. So if you take like a Kentucky Derby horse, when they're at full gallop, they're actually putting out like 3 or 4 horsepower.
They did the original test with a gay horse.
Yeah. No, we had a big debate on this at the office a couple of weeks ago. Because we solve all the world's problems like that. Like, is the coffee pot a carafe or a pitcher? That debate went on for 2 weeks. It's a carafe. Yeah. Yes, I lost my ass on that one.
It's a pot.
Can you show us that you did? Stand up, turn around. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. This 2024 scoreboard. Zane has won 8 times, but he's also no longer playing. So let's see how long it takes one of us to catch up.
He might still just win for the year. I don't know.
Alden has won 4 times. The audience and Zach have won twice. Nick and Steve have won once, and me and the guest are at 0. To be fair,
but you just started. Yeah.
Yeah, we've had 1 guest, and I've participated 1 time in trivia. So. Round number 1, this day in history. Question 1. On this day in 1929, what ceremony was first held for the movie industry? Oh my gosh. Alden, Steven, Zach.
The Oscars?
Academy Awards is correct.
Nice.
Bing. That's so much easier than having to click the daggum arrow. Question number 2. On this day in 1985, the discovery of what climate change component was announced? Steven.
The hole in the ozone layer.
Hole in the ozone layer. You are correct.
The hole or just the ozone layer?
The hole.
The hole,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was this over Australia at the time? Is this...
I don't remember.
That one? Or...
Not sure where it was. Because, flash forward to 20 years later, and they figure out that it's healing itself faster than it's opening.
Hannah says uranium.
That's it. Uranium. Everyone knows.
All right. Question number 3. On this day in 2014, what TV journalist retires from her show, The View? Steven.
Barbara Walters.
Barbara Walters is correct.
Babs.
Bravo, Steven. Yeah, I put journalist in quotes.
No, actually, anymore, I feel like you don't need to.
That's when Whoopi stepped in, isn't it?
Yeah, that's when Whoopi stepped in.
Yeah.
You know.
Is that right?
Oh yeah, the beacon of daytime television.
Yeah.
All right, question number 4. On this day in 1770, Prince Louis of France married whom? Alden.
Joan of Arc.
No. Great guess, though. That was almost the question, was a Joan of Arc question.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. All right.
Ended up not choosing it. Steven.
Mary.
No.
50% chance that you're right, you know?
Yeah.
This is where Zane would embarrass us with like perfect French on top of it.
Hannah's incorrect. Zach, you get a guess. Oh, audience gets it. It is Marie.
I was trying to think of her name. I could not.
Really? I said Mary, and you're going to hit me with a Marie.
Yeah. It's because you can't just say one name. It's everybody knows who Marie Antoinette is.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone knows who Mary is, too.
That's fair.
There's something about her.
Yeah.
All right. Question number 5. On this
Steven
day
knows.
in 1943, an uprising in which ghetto is squashed by the Nazi soldiers? Stephen.
Warsaw.
Warsaw.
Nice.
Correct. Stephen on a freaking roll. Question number 6. On this day in 1980, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was injured in a championship game. What legendary rookie stepped in and led the team to the title? Alden.
Michael Jordan?
Incorrect.
What sport are we in?
I am not giving you that. If you don't know that based on Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, I have no respect for you. Hannah, in 1980, come on.
LeBron. Everyone knows.
Steven.
Larry Bird.
Incorrect.
That feels
How
late for Larry Bird.
How do y'all not know this?
I don't know.
Legendary rookie, Zach.
Scottie Pippen.
Oh my gosh. You people. Okay, here's a hint. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar played for the Lakers. Okay, the audience gets it. Screw y'all.
Damn
Good
it.
job, Hannah. It is Magic freaking
I
Johnson.
love Magic Johnson.
No, you don't.
He's my dad's favorite player of all time.
You don't love him that much.
I guess I don't.
All right. Question number 7. On this day in 1717, what French author and philosopher was imprisoned in the Bastille? Alden.
Descartes?
It was not Descartes. Zach, sorry.
Voltaire.
Voltaire
Oh, nice.
is correct. Good job.
Nice.
Y'all, I'm clearly starting this timer every single time we've started a question. I'm doing really good.
If someone throws out Jackie Chan, though, you're gonna need to start the timer over.
Yeah, well, I'm just going to go ahead and go like that. So,
No, don't stretch the font.
Yeah. No, I have a bigger score now.
yeah, a much bigger score. It's more impressive. All right. Question number 8. On this day in 1918, what act did Congress pass that greatly infringed upon freedom of speech? On this day in 1918, what act did Congress pass that greatly infringed upon freedom of speech? Alden.
Snitches Get Stitches Act of 1918.
I mean, that's pretty dang close, but no. No, Alden, you don't get 2 in a row. Hannah gets it again.
Oh, wow. Good job.
That's what I said.
It's the Sedition Act.
That's what I said.
Okay.
Audience is crushing it tonight. Bravo, Hannah. All right, question number 9. On this
Steven
day,
and audience are doing great, yeah.
On this day in 1986, what action blockbuster was released that depicted life in the Air Force? Alden.
Top Gun.
Top Gun is correct.
Oh, wow.
I just watched the second one again for like the fourth
the
time.
newer
Wait.
one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good, man.
They weren't in the Navy.
Well, the Navy is the Air Force kind of thing. Like the Air Force is part of the Navy, but
Yeah, it's
Interesting.
100%.
They land on boats.
The Navy also owns the Marines. It's all the Department of the Navy.
There we go.
Is it really? Is it both?
Yeah, for the funding. Yeah.
Final question of this round. On this day in 1966, what band released their masterwork, Pet Sounds? Alden.
The Who.
Incorrect.
Oh, damn it.
Steven.
Iron Butterfly?
Nope. Zach, you got a guess?
Neutral Milk Hotel.
Incorrect. Audience gets it.
It's the Beach Boys. Damn it. No. Damn it.
It is
As soon as I said the Who, I was like, no, I'm an idiot. Oh, my God. Damn it.
That was never a debate.
That's fair. Yeah.
After one round, audience has 4, Steven has 3, Alden has 2, and Zach has 1. It is anyone's game. Audience, way to crush it. I should just say Hannah.
Hannah, way to go. Yeah.
Hannah's also talking smack to Alden.
We just referenced this. Yeah, of course.
All right. Round number 2, Nintendo 64. This is going to be much easier for the folks from my era.
I don't like the look on Steven's face, like he's about to dominate.
We'll see.
No, Alden. No.
GoldenEye.
Put your hand down.
It's GoldenEye. It's got to be GoldenEye.
What was the name of the device that you'd attach to the controller to make it vibrate? Alden.
A dildo.
No. Zach.
A Rumble Pack.
A Rumble Pack.
Damn it.
Correct.
Thought it was dildo.
Bravo.
Then it's a vibrator, Alden. Come on.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Right.
I'm wrong anyway.
Yeah. This next one is a number question, so everybody has to give me their guess. And then...
GoldenEye.
Is that a number?
007. Come on.
Yes. Zach.
Okay. In what year was Nintendo 64 released? Steven.
1998.
Okay. Alden.
99.
Zach.
I'll go with 96.
Well, audience and Zach share a point.
Nice.
It is 1996.
Dang
on
it.
the money.
I very frustrated that was my original answer. That's why I'm embarrassed that I said nice, but I changed my answer.
Alden is a mess tonight.
I am a mess tonight. Yeah.
These would take a few years to get out there.
Yeah.
Question number 3. What is the famous drinking game associated with Mario Kart? Alden.
Rainbow Road.
No. Zach.
Super Smashed Brothers.
Nice.
Oh, that is great.
That's a better answer than what the answer will be.
Go.
I'll say you take a shot every time somebody gets hit with a turtle shell.
Incorrect, but the audience gets it. It is beer.
Oh, nice.
It's you have to finish your beer before you cross the finish line.
Or your win doesn't count or something.
And you cannot drink your beer while you have your controller in your hand.
Oh, I didn't know that. I've never played this.
There's multiple strategies, which one is to put the controller down right from the beginning, chug your beer, and then do the race. Or do the race or drink your beer every time you like
finish and then chug your beer.
Yeah.
Or play with your toes.
Play with your Rumble Pack.
That's a strategy I've never heard of before. All right. Question number 4. Name one of the 2 common names for the N64 controllers. Alden.
The doppelganger.
No. Steven.
The claw.
No. That was close, though. Zach.
No idea. I've never heard a nickname for them.
Okay. Alden.
Me neither. The tripod.
That's the closest guess so far. Steven.
The D-pad.
No. No. The D-pad is on the controller. Zach.
The Trident.
The Trident.
Dang it.
Wow.
I skirted it.
Very good, Zach.
Zach, did you get there just because of the clue about
100%.
I love how honest I was. Oh, fuck it. I didn't know.
Question number 5. What was the maximum resolution supported by N64? Alden.
480.
Okay. Zach.
420.
Okay. Steven.
I'm going to go with 420i.
Zach and Steven both get a point. It is 240p.
Wow.
Wow.
And we call like 420 potato quality. So.
Oh my God. Yeah. Is 480 even a resolution?
Yeah, 480 is a resolution.
Okay.
Yeah.
240. That is.
It's
that
double. 480 is double of this. So yes, it's a resolution.
Wow.
Yeah, 240. And I played N64 on my giant TV in here. It's.
Oh, I tried to play GoldenEye with you, and I almost threw up because of the screen and the rate and the controls.
You have
my
to
God.
play on a screen this big.
It's the only way.
It's the only way.
You should play 64 games on like a Game Boy now. Like,
yeah, that's exactly right.
Wow.
It's how people who do like speed running and Smash Brothers competitions and whatnot, they bring their old CRT TVs and set them up.
That's smart.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I would agree with that. All right, after 2 rounds, audience and Zach are tied at 7.
Nice.
Steven has 4. Alden has 2. It is technically still anybody's game, although Alden has to get at least 2 and not have Zach and the audience get anything. So good luck with that, Alden. Round 3 is all about Mustangs. Mustangs descend from horses brought to America by which country? Alden.
Ukraine.
No. Steven.
Spain.
Spain.
That's what I should have not joked. Damn it. If I actually know all 3 of these, like, I'll be very upset, but
yeah. What is the coat color pattern called that is characterized by a dark mane and tail with a lighter body? Zach.
Brindle?
No. Good guess though. Steven.
Paisley?
No. Alden.
Apache.
No. Back open to the floor. Alden.
Cow.
No.
The cow horse.
Hey, Sumquack is back. How about that? Thanks for joining the show, Sumquack. Appreciate it. Brindle is incorrect.
Sumquack found us.
Anybody? All right, I'll put the question
Bueller.
on the screen.
Dark mane, tail, lighter.
It is not buckskin. It is not palomino. It's definitely not brown. Alden.
It's an Oreo horse.
No. No.
Damn it.
The hint is it starts with a B.
Oops, all horse.
The hint is it starts with a B. Steven.
Bobtailed nag.
Oh my gosh. No. What is that?
Bobtailed nag, somebody bet on the bay.
It's brown, man. I'm telling you.
Somebody bet on the what, Steven? Zach, what?
Beige.
That's what I was going to say.
Incorrect.
Well,
Steven.
damn it. I don't have a guess now.
Steven, come on, man. Alden.
Broom.
No. I'll give y'all a hint. Steven said the word, but just not in his answer. Steven.
Bob?
That was in your answer.
Yeah.
No, Alden.
I can't remember. I forget it.
Y'all
I
have 5 seconds.
I don't listen to Steven. That's
I'm trying to go back to Steven's rambling about bobtails or whatever.
Yeah.
Bay.
Oh my gosh.
Good God.
I couldn't believe the word came out of your mouth after
But
you
not
Put
officially.
my money on the bobtailed nag. Somebody bet on the bay. Yeah.
Yep. It is not polka dot, Brian. All right. Final question.
Pretty close,
It
though.
is anyone's game except for Alden. Alden, I'm not even going to let you answer this question. So you just sit there and shut up.
It's GoldenEye.
Well, he could cause a 3-way tie otherwise. That'd be nuts.
There's not going to be a 3-way tie tonight. Somebody's going to get this. And actually, I think Alden would be the one to get this one right off the bat.
Really?
Yes. But you're not answering. Name one of the 9+ universities with Mustang as their mascot. This is an abomination.
Yeah.
Perfect Dark is not greater than GoldenEye. All right, audience wins.
Oh,
Shaking my underwear.
SMU. Bravo to the audience.
What
that
is
stand
SMU?
for?
Huh? Southern Methodist University.
What the hell is that?
It's in Dallas. Also said, easy money. Y'all don't know SMU? Southern Methodist University?
We're not all from Dallas. What the?
yeah. I'm lucky to know TCU.
Okay, those are massive schools. Like SMU plays college football with like Oklahoma and Texas.
With Magic Johnson.
I'd only heard of one school on that list.
I've only heard of one school.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
that made me want a Grolsch.
A what?
Grolsch.
That's what he's drinking, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know.
I just heard that pop top.
That's right. It's a European Pilsner with the
That
swing top.
Yeah.
I love the swing tops. We got a bunch of those. Are those called carafes? Once you.
I love the swing top if you're like a home brewer and you reuse them, but you're a fucking pussy if you reseal your beer. I'm just saying, like. Somebody tried to argue to me that was the best bottle.
I don't need all
That
the
was
cards.
so wrong and so unnecessary.
You sound like a date rapist.
I'm sorry. Finish your beer.
Nowhere, man.
It's like 12 ounces. It's not like it's a bottle that's fucking like a Nebuchadnezzar bottle or something. Like
It has 9 carbs. I don't need all that.
I am always covering my beer around Alden from now on after that.
Brian
I'm
said
gonna go.
Don't reseal their liquor. You're darn right.
Oh man, I got a friend that says that when he opens a whiskey, he throws the cork in the trash, and I'm like, all right.
That he better be finishing it that night then.
Oh no, that's the plan. Yeah.
Okay, well, no, I don't condone that either. That's that's worse than resealing it. All right, let's. I think we should take about 5 minutes to acknowledge the genius and just brilliance
of Ukraine,
the city of San Francisco. So let's do that.
Ukraine of the West.
Yeah.
Ukraine of the West. San Francisco is slammed for $5 million a year program that gives free alcohol to the homeless. The quote is, "This isn't working."
It's because it's not in resealable bottles.
Y'all, this is that could be a Babylon Bee headline. Like the fact that someone said, yes, what we really need to do to help with this homeless problem, with the $40 billion budget that we have for it, is we should spend $5 million of those dollars giving them free alcohol to help them get off the street. Y'all,
how does that help anyone get off the street? I don't understand.
How many years did they do this? I forget. I read it earlier. Where was that? It was $5 million a year for F. I think it was
for F years.
For F years. I don't remember how many years the dadgum program was running.
One is too many.
Yeah, I was to say even if it's half, like
4
honestly,
years.
What was the argument? Like, what was the pitch for this?
Does it? I had to be reading something different here. It says over the 4 years, it served 65 clients total.
What?
That's like a house party.
$5 million.
A house party. Yeah, we might have had.
God, can you imagine being on the council? They're like, "Hey, go give alcohol to the homeless. Here's your budget."
No, the clients are different homeless shelters.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not individuals.
Different.
Right?
Yeah, no. It's it started with 10 beds and now grown to 20. Over the 4 years, it's 4 years. Okay, so 4 years. So it spent $20 million giving free alcohol to people who were struggling to find a home.
Yeah,
like,
that doesn't make sense to me.
How would that
anybody? Well,
I can even get. Go ahead.
I've learned this growing up close enough to Atlanta. They're not looking for a home.
Yeah,
You're right. They will sleep under a tree, on a bench, on the side of a wall, on the road, in the ditch. As long as they get their fix, their buzz, whatever it is they're looking for, they'll do whatever they can to get that. And they don't care where they sleep.
This is Tim Pool's whole argument. I listened to him rant about this for a while, and he spent a lot of time doing like on the street journalism, and he would approach a bunch of homeless people, especially in like New York during Occupy Wall Street and all that kind of stuff, where like they had no interest in getting a house. They're like, yeah, my house is right there. Like, I'm good. Like I can live how I want to live out here, and I don't need to go, live by a bunch of rules that are imposed upon me in other places.
I mean, they're free to not have to figure out what Discord is, so.
Are there really crack pipe vending machines in New York?
Oh, yes. And Toronto.
For real?
Oh, yeah.
See,
Toronto, you can probably get free fentanyl and stuff too.
Oh, fentanyl.
Grumpy would become homeless for free alcohol.
Right. Yeah.
See?
Especially to the tune of $5 million a year.
Hannah says she thinks the idea was it was cheaper than rehab and they were trying to wean people down, except they had kegs in the lobby. They had kegs in the lobby of certain places where you could just go in and get your own beer. Like, you're not weaning anyone off anything.
If you're not in a controlled setting, and if you just come in and grab your vodka and go, how do we know we're weaning instead of just giving you your morning bump and then you find more later? Like, if it's not a controlled way to do it, then like if it's not rehab, then you're just giving someone vodka. It doesn't work. You don't know. Like,
yeah, very true. And Grumpy, you're correct. Look, I've officially stopped listening to the Tim Pool show. Like, this is the first week I listened to none of it. I'm just referencing an episode from a long time ago, because
I never really followed it. But
Tim,
what I know about the homeless in Atlanta, I've been around the Fox Theater after a string cheese incident concert, and a guy was cold. He's shivering. He's all cold. I give him a U-Haul blanket. Okay. 10 minutes later, I see him trading that for a crack rock.
All right. Yeah.
Pretty good deal.
Yeah. I had an old jacket too. I gave
it's a good deal. Yeah.
One guy an old jacket and a U-Haul blanket. And then he comes back 10 minutes later, same guy, no jacket, no U-Haul blanket.
High on crack.
Clearly higher on crack than he was when I first saw him.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's like, but it looked like that. Like
there's such a vast difference. So like I'm a huge fan of how Portugal has dealt with legalizing all drugs or decriminalizing all drugs.
Decriminalizing, I think, is the step.
They set up rehabilitation centers in places where you can responsibly get things, whereas this is just a keg in a lobby of a homeless.
No.
It's like, you think anyone did a keg stand?
Yeah. So I was going to compare this to the like needle exchange, where like you get a clean needle so you're not spreading disease. You can do it there. You don't, if you die, they can resuscitate you or give you a Narcan or whatever. If you get fentanyl and you didn't expect it, like it's whatever. Like that serves a function at least. But those clinics aren't giving people heroin, or whatever. Like that's not the whole function of it. It's just to make sure that it's safe, you don't die, and you don't spread a disease to somebody else or whatever. Like,
and then at the end of the day, drug legalization is the one that gets the bad rap. It's like, I'm for legalizing all drugs, and I think we would be better off. Right. But I don't think you should be giving them out on the street, letting people shoot up in front of the library.
It's
insane.
Want the legalization of basically everything, whatever. But I don't want my taxes to pay for the drugs that I would just go buy if I wanted, if they were legal. And if they were legal, we wouldn't need this, whatever.
Yeah. Brian says he's still waiting for the ATF convenience store.
Absolutely. I mean, I used to know a guy that was, he got a prescription for methamphetamine.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Because he was that addicted to it. Like, it was like he's got to have it or he's going to die. And then the doctors are like, this is going to be a fun experiment. Let's do this.
Where do you fill that script? Does Walgreens have meth just laying around?
Adderall is meth. Right?
No. This was
Adderall's and methamphetamine.
I'm
Maybe
dead serious.
But there are methamphetamine salts that you can take for ADD. And then my
No,
dad
that's
used to be a
amphetamine
welder.
salts. That's not methamphetamine. Like,
That's
it's
right.
slightly different.
I'm
but way
30%
different.
sure I've seen methamphetamine salts, but
Wow.
I might be spreading misinformation. Who knows?
Well,
That's
But
what
my
we-
dad used to be a
MDMA.
welder, and he would talk about how they would pop these that they just got over the counter at pharmacies, and that it was methamphetamine, but it wasn't like crystal meth. It wasn't made in a tub somewhere. It was
Right.
made in a lab.
Was it blue?
And he's like, I don't know. He's like, I did this small one, and other people would do this big one, and they would be up literally all night.
Yeah.
And that sounds bad, but not as bad as making it illegal, and then rednecks are making it in the bathtub of their trailer. So
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The A in MDMA is amphetamine. Like
Yes.
and the molecular component of the amphetamine on many drugs is a component that gives, it's like the energizing component that stimulates the adrenal system or whatever. But it's very different in MDMA than it is in meth. I highly recommend MDMA. I do not probably recommend meth.
Yeah.
Unofficially recommend it.
Of course, this Molly stuff these days is not the MDMA we grew up with.
I didn't grow up with any of this.
I've had some really good, clean experiences with it, but maybe that was a dream. I don't fully remember.
I don't feel like it wasn't my thing to begin with, but I wouldn't trust anything right now. Like there's fentanyl and coke.
But if it were legalized, then you could trust it.
High schooler died in Dunwoody this week.
Say what, Jake?
A high schooler died in Dunwoody this week because she took a pill during class and died in class from fentanyl overdose.
Gee whiz.
Yep.
See?
And there's those websites. There's websites that people would submit their ecstasy pills to, just mail them in, and they would test them.
To test it?
Yeah, and you could scroll through and be like, oh, the Teslas, they're 30% meth, or the peace signs or whatever. They
the one with
are
the
just
butterfly
caffeine.
print. On
Yeah.
it,
Or the Rolex or the Motorola's. Yeah.
Man, I do not know the drug world very well, y'all. I did weed.
Go have a gummy.
Started doing weed in 2021.
Well, I know these things from Lil Jon songs, by the way. So
you what?
Yeah.
I said the things I just rattled off are from Lil Jon.
I literally just know all this from being into EDM when it was popular. I didn't even do drugs. But they would stamp them with little symbols, like a Tesla symbol or something, and people would be like, "All right, I took that one; it was fine." So then they would generally trust that symbol, but then somebody would come along
replicate
and make a fake one, and it would no longer be good.
What's the Kendrick Lamar song? Oh, ADHD that he rattles off a bunch of drugs. Anyway, it's a good song.
Well, and you could usually know them by their colors too. Whatever the predominant color was if it had any kind of green in it, that was heroin based. If it was red or blue, you knew that was meth.
What about
and then
purple?
there were sites that would tell you how to spot fakes too. They'd be like, well, the Hello Kitty should be recessed, but this one, it's coming up, so it's fake or something.
If it's the embossed Hello Kitty, it's different than the relief Hello Kitty.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I've read a lot about this for someone who doesn't do it.
Yeah, that's interesting. He's just
take
a
it to the sheriff's
researcher.
office. They'll tell you all about it.
Yeah. Hey, Sheriff. What's your take on this? Is this the right Hello Kitty?
No matter what, I think it's pretty obvious that this $5 million a year on booze for the homeless was going to be a failure from the beginning.
Well, and how big of an alcoholic is this city official? I mean, can you imagine that? Hey, here's your budget, $5 million. Okay, cool. I'm going to put 3.5 in the homeless shelters, and then I'm going to go ball out at the club for the rest of the year.
How much affordable
or council meetings after that? Come on.
How many tiny homes could we have built for that?
Right.
I feel like what they should do is have a night at a brewery where the brewery has patrons that come there that are willing to buy one beer for someone, but they have to sit and drink with you there, and you got to rub elbows, and you got to talk, and you got to sit at the same table, and you got to have a conversation, and you got to work through the difference of your lifestyle.
Can I bring my gun? Is that okay?
That depends on your state laws. I don't know.
Yeah. I know a couple of bars
concealed
that block the cell signal in the bar, and they even have a sign up that says the Wi-Fi password is "just kidding, talk to your neighbor."
I love that. I love that.
Fantastic.
Yeah, if I ever owned a movie theater or a bar or anything like that, I would just use lead paint on all the walls, so there'd be no cell reception in that thing.
And it tastes better.
I know it tastes better when you eat the paint.
Extra crunchy.
Yeah, extra crunchy.
But you can still look at old pictures of people like riding the subway. They're not talking to each other. They're all just reading the newspaper, reading a book.
It's true. Yeah, they act like the cell phone somehow tore us all apart, but like people still weren't talking to each other beforehand.
I mean, moving from the west to the east again, like I'm in the south again now, and I'm a born again Southerner, and it has been a culture shock within the same year. Just going from Washington State to Georgia has been wild. People will just bump elbows with you and be like, "Oh my God, good morning," and like acknowledge your presence, or like tell you a joke, or like, I don't know, ask you some question about your day or your dick size or whatever it is. Like, people are friendly. It's weird.
You're not just anywhere. You're in North Georgia.
I'm in North Georgia, Northwest.
You can drive by. People will stop doing yard work and turn around to wave at you.
Yeah, that's literally true here. Like, literally, like, set the weed eater down and like it's the fucking.
Dude,
like
I'm a
TV
waver.
show.
I wave at all my neighbors every time I see them. Like,
I'm a waver.
Whatever.
I'm a dorky waver neighbor. Yeah, but anyway, it is not a thing in the West, man. Like,
no,
people
in general.
If you look at them, like if you look up from your phone or the ground or whatever, like when you're crossing someone, they're like, oh, like, what are you looking at me for? Like, it's truly it's like being in a different country, the culture difference.
Well,
it's also a security measure.
There was a bar in Tacoma, Washington, and they were doing their the Wing Wednesday special.
What bar? I used to live in Tacoma.
Oh, really? Opal Cafe.
I don't know that one.
They were doing their $2 Wing Wednesday special, and I'm like, if I paid $2 a wing, I'd be mad at everybody else too.
Yeah, I remember when they used to be like $0.25 a wing or something.
Right?
Yeah.
The waving thing, real quick, just to advocate for it, it's a security measure too. Because if people like you or think they like you, they're gonna watch out for you a little bit more.
Yeah.
Remember there was like some sermon at church once where the guy was like, there was these skater punks in my neighborhood and they were just like causing havoc and I didn't like them. But I just started waving at them every single day. And then one day I got home and they come over and they're like, hey man, someone was at your house. We were just like curious if they were supposed to be there. Like they were watching the guy's house for him then. So,
see, neighborhood watch, man.
All you gotta do is wave.
Yeah.
Like, there is something to it, man. Like it will be off-putting to certain people, but to most people, it will bring their guard down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Oh yeah. Or especially in the middle of the summertime, if you're leaving a cookout, like, hey, I got some extra ice, man. You need some ice for the cooler? Oh, you just made a friend.
There you go. Yeah. I found these beers in my garage. Like, yeah. Yeah.
All right. Let's go talk about Slovakia, something no one has ever said. So the Slovakian prime minister was gunned down in the middle of the street in broad daylight.
Sounds free and fair and secure.
Oh yeah. Oh, it totally does. It is right now. He is in critical condition. He's been labeled a far right wing prime minister, and yeah, I mean, take what you will from that. But
I've heard that he was left wing.
He's so far right, he's left.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I read he was right wing, but I could be completely wrong.
Is that the same everywhere?
His populist party began on the left and has moved increasingly to the right. Whatever that means in Europe.
Yeah. They haven't moved to the right. It's just everyone else is a freaking commie.
That is so vague. Let's see. He's anti-EU, against sending aid to Ukraine, and against LGBTQ rights. So
he's a Nazi.
He's a Nazi.
Yep. Yeah. Yes. He's
okay. Well, he deserved it. We can move on from this then. He deserved it.
I'm shaking hearing this right now.
It sent a chill down my political spine.
Really, that should say we used to smear him as far right. Now we used to smear him as far left. Now we smear him as far right because that's the new trendy thing.
Exactly, right. I don't remember the last time. I don't remember ever hearing any news in my lifetime out of Slovakia. This might be the first time that I've heard anybody on the news talk about Slovakia since I have been paying attention to them.
Well,
I'm trying to think.
Mirko Krokop was my favorite fighter for a while, but he was Czech. And that was before the split.
That was the split. Yeah.
So I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. World leader getting gunned down in the streets in broad daylight in a country that is unexpected, I guess.
So it's the shot not quite heard around the world. Yeah,
it's not really a shock. I think it's kind of like I don't know, just an echo, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I was about to ask my friend how she felt about this before I realized she was Serbian, and those aren't the same place.
Literally Trump. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I really don't have much to say about this. I just found it weird that somebody would gun down the Slovakian prime minister in the streets.
Yeah.
Someone cares there.
You know, he's far right because he's right there on the sidewalk now.
Just makes you wonder, like, if Trump hasn't been gunned down at this point, what did that guy do to deserve that?
Even Reagan got shot.
Well, apparently he was trying to like go against Big Pharma. I think he was going against the vax. Not sending stuff to Ukraine will do it also.
Yeah.
If we're going to get conspiratorial and think it was, an assassination attempt, like because of who he is, rather than just some lone crazy guy, which it never seems to be for real.
Yeah.
And he's not eating the BLTG sandwiches.
I says, but what was he wearing?
It's definitely a mini skirt.
Oh man. I don't know. We'll keep an eye on it if anything else comes of it.
It'll be interesting to watch too, because what is it? Austria has a guy that was compared to Trump. Dressed the same, had similar mannerisms, had a similar business background. He was worth tens of millions of dollars, self-made businessman before he came up. Now Germany's going through their crap where they're talking about conscription again. They're talking about banning driving on the weekends. Like Germany's a mess, dude.
I'm surprised we haven't already done that.
Their high court has declared the AfD party to be a threat to democracy because they're so far right.
Yeah, you mentioned that this week.
And you got Austria's right next door. So if you start seeing guys like these drop around the world, the pendulum's about to swing.
Can you how are we supposed to keep track of all this? This is what I've been saying a lot over the past couple of years. Is like I don't think the human brain is programmed to worry about or analyze problems, global, worldwide problems, and things that happen, like events that happen all around the world. Because the amount of information I can't even compute everything that's happening in the state of Georgia, let alone
I can't compute what's happening in this fucking house this weekend.
So how on earth does anybody think it's a good idea to have a worldwide government or a countrywide government that runs the lives of 330 million people?
It's absurd.
And has nukes.
Freaking crazy.
Vodka budgets.
The hubris of these people is unbelievable, because if you put me in charge of 330 million people, I might just have a heart attack right then. That sounds horrible.
Yeah. Well, and that's why Austin Peterson had my vote, because everyone's like, well, your first 100 days, what are you going to do? He's like, I'm going to kick my feet up on the desk. I'm going to say no to a lot of papers that come onto it. And I'm going to play some golf. I'm going to leave you alone. I'm like, sweet.
Yeah,
please do.
I'd have a heart attack, and then they'd replace me with a lizard in a suit with different earlobes, and everyone would be fine with it.
But for it to all rest on one person. I mean, yes, there's a chain of command after that, but one person. And then we learned under Obama, you can't protect that one person anyways.
No.
Because that madman just ran into the White House, did 2 laps around the whole place. Looking for the president, didn't find him.
This is the whole thing with the female guard at the door. That's
one of the best Joe Rogan bits ever.
Yes. Oh, that's
good.
Yeah,
so good. I just find it wild. I don't know what's going on in Slovakia. I have no idea what's going on in Slovakia. I don't understand. I don't know what's going on throughout Europe. Hey,
3-4 years ago, when was it Shinzo Abe, the Japanese prime minister, when he got shot dead in the middle of the street? Did we care about that either?
I remember that now.
I don't.
About that.
Yeah.
It's just like what are the tensions leading to this? Why is a prime minister getting gunned down in the streets? We're never going to know because we don't live there. And even if you do live there, I guarantee you most people aren't going to know.
I didn't know until you said it.
Truth never comes out.
Yeah. That article said that the shooter may have been connected to a pro-Russia group. So it's like they want it both ways. They want to be like, well, this asshole's not sending enough money to Ukraine, but also Russia killed him.
Yeah.
God. Well said.
Zach, we're going to pause on your next deal. We're going to bring mine up. I really want to talk about this. Hannah, actually, first, before we get to that, we're going to get to this.
I am not fucking drunk.
Well, 19th are blue.
Every pretty girl deserves to go to a ball.
This is everything about it's a clam. I love it.
I gotta be honest with you, I feel like I'm a little bit too drunk to stand up.
On Wiedersehen, asshole.
I'm drunk right now.
All right.
I'm so upset I don't get to see it anymore.
You will once you get your desktop back.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah. Once we get you a camera, you'll be good to go.
Once we get me in this century.
Some quack says it keeps us focused on the most horrifying instead of what we can actually change. That's exactly right. That's
Of
exactly
course.
right.
Of course. That's all the social networks. That's what the algorithm is programmed to do is, whatever your current state, your emotional state, when you log in, it magnifies that. So if you're happy, you're going to see happy things.
A lot of cats.
But if you're already sad, it's going to make you feel sad and more disconnected because then you keep tapping into that infinite scroll and you give it more data and it's reading your face the whole time.
Yep. Yep. That's exactly right.
See, I don't want a webcam, so I can't read my face.
We're getting you a webcam. All right, y'all. This is Mayor Eric Adams talking about illegal immigrants in New York City.
Perfect.
It's very short.
How do we have a large body of people that are in our city and country that are excellent swimmers, and at the same time we need lifeguards? And the only obstacle is that we won't give them the right to work to become a lifeguard.
I'm not as think as you drunk I am.
Swimmers, wow.
This guy calls a bunch of immigrants good swimmers because they swam over here from their respective countries and says, we have a tremendous lack of lifeguards in New York City. Why are we not hiring these people? Because they're illegal immigrants. It's like,
wow.
What are you talking about? You friggin' doofus. Oh my gosh.
The swimmers thing.
Isn't it the same guy who went through the room to point out all the places where you can hide drugs and guns?
Yes, wow. which oddly enough, that video was a few years before he was mayor.
You can put your weed in there. A lot of people don't realize this. But
it's just like, what are you talking about, man? Like that whole sentence makes no sense. Just because they're illegal immigrants who may or may not have swam from somewhere.
Is that even? I feel like that might even be like a weird, like stereotype pushing racist thing. Like they have to be good swimmers if they're illegal immigrants. They all came from across the Rio or Cuba or something. Like this is so strange.
Dude,
I don't even know.
Such a weird.
Rio Grande is shallow.
Sure. Okay, so they can walk.
Hey. No one calls it the Rio Grande. Okay, it's the Rio Grande.
Rio Grande.
Yeah, it's the Rio Grande. Like no Rio Grande. No Rio
Isn't
Grande.
Grande?
No, it's Rio Grande. Yeah. No,
it's Rio Grande.
It's RIO Speedwagon.
Grumpy's out early tonight, y'all. Good night,
Grumpy.
Night, Grumpy.
Yeah, go to Taco
Grumpy's
Bell.
Gonna miss
Nachos Bell Grand and see how that goes for you.
Grumpy's gonna miss us talking about the sun, the solar activity, and the geomagnetic.
Yeah, we might actually just skip the rest of the topic.
We're gonna skip. Yeah. Oh, okay. I was gonna say because that's like the most important thing going on.
Apparently, that's all you want to talk about.
Yes, of course. It's gonna make everything else that we're talking about moot.
All right.
So what he needs to do in the New York subways.
Here we go.
All of a sudden, you're going to see lifeguard, like the sachet.
The sash, yeah.
Yeah.
Or is it just is it sachet or sash?
This is going to be a sachet. It's going to have a little extra flair to it. And they're going to stop all the crime on the subway because they're such good swimmers.
It's like the hall patrol when I was in like 5th grade or something.
All right. So anyway, that was Mayor Eric Adams, who is our drunkard of the week. Well deserved. That guy is a complete buffoon. I don't know how he got elected to anything, but it is depressing.
When's the last time New York City had a mayor that was not a buffoon?
Giuliani.
No, he's a buffoon. Okay. I was like, no, that I will.
I mean, he was super popular, but he definitely became a buffoon.
So Fiorella LaGuardia?
What?
Fiorella LaGuardia, maybe?
Is that where they get the airport name?
Yeah.
All right.
That was a New York mayor. So we'll say that was the last pardon mayor they had.
What was that? The 70s or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a while ago.
You can beat people up just because,
All
right.
Instead of getting a ticket or instead of going on probation and ruining your life, the cop would just punch you in the face and then walk you home.
All right. So that was our drunkard of the week. It was the clown. It was the loser, the villain, the doofus. This guy was runner up, and he would have been the hero version.
Mm-hmm.
This is Harrison Butker he's a Chiefs kicker, giving a speech at, what was the college? Benedictine College.
You had Alden at Harry Butt.
On May 11th. All right, here you go.
The women who have had the most diabolical lies told to you. How many of you are sitting here now about to cross this stage and are thinking about all the promotions and titles you are going to get in your career? Some of you may go on to lead successful careers in the world, but I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring into this world. I can tell you that my beautiful wife, Isabel, would be the first to say that her life truly started when she began living her vocation as a wife and as a mother. By making it to this moment through all the adversity thrown your way from COVID, I hope you learned the important lessons that suffering in this life is only temporary. As a group, you witnessed firsthand how bad leaders who don't stay in their lane can have a negative impact on society. While COVID might have played a large role throughout your formative years, it is not unique. Bad policies and poor leadership have negatively impacted major life issues. Things like abortion, IVF, surrogacy, euthanasia, as well as a growing support for degenerate cultural values in media, all stem from the pervasiveness of disorder. Our own nation is led by a man who publicly and proudly proclaims his Catholic faith, but at the same time is delusional enough to make the sign of the cross during a pro-abortion rally. He has been so vocal in his support for the murder of innocent babies that I'm sure to many people, it appears that you can be both Catholic and pro-choice. The world around us says that we should keep our beliefs to ourselves whenever they go against the tyranny of diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Ooh.
We fear speaking truth because now, unfortunately, truth is in the minority. Congress just passed a bill restating something as basic as the biblical teaching of who killed Jesus could land you in jail. I am certain the reporters at the AP could not have imagined that their attempt to rebuke and embarrass places and people like those here at Benedictine wouldn't be met with anger, but instead met with excitement and pride. Not the deadly sin sort of pride that has an entire month dedicated to it, but the true God-centered pride that is cooperating with the Holy Ghost to glorify him.
There you go. That is Harrison Butker.
Somebody notify the Pope. This man's not really a Catholic.
How was he received?
Wow.
Oh, so the people at the college friggin' loved it. People on the internet lost their dadgum minds. So actually this clip was put together by a petition at change.org.
I think it is you.
Calling on the Chiefs to dismiss kicker Harrison Butker for making several dehumanizing remarks during his commencement speech at Benedictine College.
Those always affect your kicking.
Well, hey, guess what? And kudos to Roger Goodell for this move here, because in the wake of Colin Kaepernick taking a knee, guess what he did? He waived the NFL's tax-exempt status and said, some of our people have stories to tell and things to say, and I'm not going to silence them. And you're not going to wave the carrot of being tax-free in my face. I'm going to pay taxes, and I'm going to let my people speak.
Some quack says accidental self-pwned by a chain.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
You're darn right.
It's a Catholic college too. It's like, I don't know what you expect.
I mean,
I guess
he
they
lost
expect
the whole
some
IVF part of it.
Oh, that makes more sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I thought if you listen to his whole speech, it's all fantastic. Like most of it is fantastic. We're not going to agree on everything, but it is definitely completely different than what you would hear from any other college graduation speech.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we watched one last week of that doofus telling everybody to get up and stretch to the left and all garbage.
I forgot that was so
box breathing.
Box breathing. Yeah, that's
again,
he did.
It's not box breathing. Yeah.
So yeah, this is a guy who's extremely successful in his field, talking about how you should be proud to be a wife, you should be proud to be a mother, you should not. Politicians should stay in their lane and not meddle in people's personal lives. Like,
you should be proud to pursue the life that you want. If that's what you want to do in your life, that's it. You are your own, just, the leader of your own life. Like, that's it.
And you can call it conservative values all you want, but what it really comes down to is it's anarchy, right? Because it's we do as humans crave some form of order. So anarchy is just a lack of government. Michael Malice has gone to great lengths trying to explain this to people, and they just can't fathom it. It's just lack of government. It's not a lack of order. Doesn't mean that there's not people that still live by rules. Everyone that's successful today live by a strict set of rules they impose on themselves.
Yeah.
And now granted, in today's society, would anarchy really work? About half of us would kill each other.
Yes. Look, I agree.
It's like, you take a loaf of bread out to the beach, right? You throw half of it up in the air, and the seagulls fight over the same piece of bread. It's called the territorial imperative. And it's the same concept would apply to those of us that have been drugged, medically sedated, dumbed down, and reduced to just their lizard brain impulses of, this is what I want now for my dopamine release. But then you have people like Harrison Butker that are structured, that have rules they live by, that, order, things that just make sense. And then, before they got fully politicized, the Brookings Institute even issued, it was like 20 years ago. They said, if you follow like these 5 tenets, it's almost guaranteed you will never experience poverty in your life. And, it was, don't have kids until you're married. Don't
graduate high school
until you're out of high school. And there, there's a few other, I can't rattle them all off right now.
Get a job and keep it.
What's that?
It was like graduate high school, don't have children until you're married, and get a job and keep it. Those were the big 3, but there may have been like 2 more.
And everyone's like, oh my gosh. Oh, how unprogressive. That's a threat to democracy. And so, people come out with stuff like that, he lost me at the whole IVF thing. Cause personally, I feel like that could be a way for God to counter Satanist intent to make people infertile, because the drugs that are in the water and the food and even the things that are in our medicine that we know sterilize us.
Getting hit in the nuts.
That too,
dude. True fucking story. This is happening.
A way to to counteract that and still have God perform His miracle of birth.
All right. Well, Propaganda Report says we're all invited on the show.
Oh, I get clearance from the boss on that one, but I would love to. Yeah.
Some quack says IVF better than surrogacy for sure.
What really works is just your friend's kid hitting you in the nuts with a plastic sword really hard. Like, I can just tell you that there's a 50% chance that my boys don't swim at this point.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It was he's strong for his age.
Well,
and they're calling for him to be removed from the team. Like,
yeah, that's
there's plenty of
that's so stupid. That no one, Ray Rice didn't get calls to get removed from the team. He didn't have a petition to be removed from the team, and he beat the crap out of his girlfriend.
That uppercut. Oh my, that's what Mike Tyson's going to hit Jake Paul with right there. He's going to hit him with that Ray Rice uppercut.
Dude,
Jake Paul's in an elevator.
Oh my gosh, I cannot wait for that fight.
What fight?
Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson.
Oh.
Mike Tyson's coming out of retirement as a 58-year-old to fight a 28-year-old.
Yeah, but it's Mike Tyson, so
it's Mike. Have you
I'm
seen
not counting him
him
out.
training? I gotta pull up what he's been doing recently because
yeah,
his training is.
I wouldn't want to fight Mike Tyson if he were dead, man. Like,
I mean,
I love when Bill Burr went on Hot Boxing in Mike Tyson's podcast. It was sometime last year, and Bill Burr was sitting there, and Mike Tyson had like a co-host.
Mike Tyson's podcast is called Hot Boxing.
Hot Boxing with Mike Tyson, yeah.
That's so clever and hilarious.
And Tyson, and he just gets ripped and just talks about whatever. And he's a really deep thinker. He's surprisingly a deep thinker for somebody obviously with CTE.
I'm just playing. Keep talking.
Bill Burr sitting there, and then Mike Tyson's like, "I'm on mushrooms, man," and then just yeah. And Bill says a joke that he didn't get, and you see Bill like, "Oh, I didn't mean any disrespect."
I mean, look at this dude.
Yeah,
he is an animal.
Nah, he's got moves still, man. Like,
the dude is 58. The dude is 58. He is still crazy quick.
And is this
I like what Chuck Liddell was saying about him, because Chuck Liddell was like, he might be a little slower. He's fractions of a second slower than he was 20 years ago.
He was, yeah.
And he's like, and Chuck is speaking from personal experience here. He's like, the last thing that leaves you is the power.
Right.
Because he even talked in depth about this, because that's why Chuck stayed in the UFC as long as he did. Because like those last two fights he had should have never happened. It was. I think I cried at the last one. It was very sad for me. But the reason he did it was because he was still hitting with the same power.
Mm.
He just wasn't as quick. So he was getting caught before he could deliver that punch.
Mm-hmm.
Here's them training side by side videos. And like Jake Paul can box. Like the dude is good. He started off as a YouTuber and no one took him seriously, and then he started taking fights where he was actually doing great.
Well, I mean, 5 years ago, Jake Paul was a total punon.
What?
I mean, he's put on 40 pounds of pure muscle in the last 5 years. Like he's thick now. So, and his fight with Tommy Fury, I mean, I was impressed.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and Tommy's not his brother, that's for sure. But,
but people that have like years and years of boxing specific experience, it's boxing
50-6 record.
The sport. Is that what it is? 50-6? Wow.
Yeah, with 44 knockouts.
That's insane, dude. Oh my god. But remember when McGregor fought what's his name in a boxing match, the very defensive style. Mayweather, thank you. Yeah. And it was, it wasn't the most eventful thing, and Mayweather won because he's just a better boxer. Like that's the thing. Like
he has a perfect record too, but still not as many knockouts.
Right. Yeah.
He's a dodger.
He's a very defensive style boxer, very technical boxer.
Yeah.
And strength doesn't matter as much when you're just like letting someone wear themselves out because they can't get even a glancing blow off you hardly, So I just don't think that my money would be on Tyson just for the experience in that particular arena. But
yeah, I mean, the thing is like 30 years difference. That's the issue.
That's a big gap though.
That's a huge age gap. So like it's pretty even as like, if you look at it overall. I mean, he's a super young dude fighting like an old dude. But it's still Mike friggin' Tyson.
It's Mike Tyson, man. I don't know.
Rogan has said it many times on his podcast where he changed the size of his table because of Mike Tyson. because he had Mike Tyson come on the show one time when he was training for a fight. He said the table was small enough to where like Rogan was actually afraid. And so he made the table bigger so they didn't have to sit close to people anymore.
Yeah, because they say that like he's got this look in his eye, like if he takes something the wrong way, he's just got this reflex.
Alden, what do you want to talk about, man? I know you've been dying to
the end of the world.
Okay, let's talk about solar flares. What's going on? Why do we need to know about these?
There's so much going on with this recently, and I think Stephen was mentioning before that we covered this because 2023 has just been, or since 2023, it's just been crazy with the amount of like solar flare activity and where auroras reaching southern states and shit, and like just on a level that usually happens every, I don't know, 25 to 100 years, and we're getting it multiple times a year now. But Stephen had mentioned before, when this was on the news and the weather woman or some shit was like, I'm not into space weather, but they put me in charge of, talking about space weather, whatever. And she was like, it's a solar maximum. And Stephen was like, what? We're in the Maunder minimum. Like, we're like 2 or 3 years out from the solar maximum. What are you talking about? And that is true. I think 2025 is going to be like the solar maximum, like the peak or whatever. So we're not even at the maximum. So this is the weather, the news media or whatever is like minimizing this by saying like, oh, well, the sun's most active right now. And it's like, no, this is actually like at more of a mid or a low. And the sun is not actually incredibly active right now. This is fairly normal, but the Earth's magnetic shielding is lower. That is the problem. That's what's scary.
So they're either deliberately lying to us or they don't know. They're dumb, they're just misreporting it.
That's always the thing. So ineptitude or malice.
Sunspot activity, coronal mass ejections, their possibility is at their highest right now.
Right. Because
the sun overall is dormant. So what does happen is more.
You get those bubble ups, yeah. Right. So you get the sun. That's why you get those focused little sunspot kind of things or whatever. It actually just had another one that it sent it away from Earth, but that was bigger than by like 3 or 4 times or something.
Right. So hit us. In terms of our radio communications and our GPS and all that kind of stuff, more sunspots, good, because you're releasing
the
energy
more. Yeah. It's think of it like a valve,
that focused blast.
Yeah.
When you have fewer amount of sunspots, the sunspots that you do get are sons of bitches.
Yeah.
And that's how you get a Carrington event.
If you have like a hose with like a sprinkler on the end with like 30 holes and it's like, it's fine. But if you get like the pressure washer blast where it's like the focus blast, it's a very different thing. All coming from the same hose, but different effect on the receiving end of that.
So explain why I need to care about any of this.
Because if the Earth's magnetic shielding is in a logarithmic or like an exponential decline, which it is rounding down into an exponential decline, then we might be going into what's called a geomagnetic excursion event or a pole flip, which we have been told we're overdue for. And if that happens, the shielding will be so low that basically even normal solar events will cause problems. And if you do get hit by a flare of some kind, then you could have like the Carrington event kind of a thing, except for everything's digital now, so we could be fucked. But
what is a Carrington event?
So the Carrington event happened in the late 1800s.
Telegram? Telegraph stuff?
It wiped out the entire telegraph system of the whole nation.
Yeah.
But outside of the Carrington event, there was also an X-class solar flare that happened in the late 80s or early 80s. It was mainly the northernmost parts of CONUS and Canada. And I mean, this stuff, it literally melted traffic signals off their bases.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not only did it knock out their whole electric grid, but like, traffic signals were just straight up like metal traffic signal poles melted.
It was a libertarian flare. Destroy the roads.
That's right.
Yeah. No, I mean,
and this could all start with a flow chart too. Is the Slovakian president or prime minister still alive? Yes or no? If it's no, solar flare possible, here we are. You could put Harambe above that too. I don't know.
We should have.
So what you're saying is we might be entering an episode of the Earth's.
We are entering a period where the Earth's magnetic shield has been declining historically on record for like over 100 years, and it was like 1% a year, and then it was like, or what was it, 5% every 100 years, and then it was 5% every like 20 years, and now it's like 5% every 5 years, and so we're like getting more extreme.
Well, so and here's another thing: you guys may not be aware of this. You know, there's more than one North Star.
Yeah, it depends on what age you're in.
There's 3.
So Polaris is like ours now, or Sirius is our.
There's Polaris, but we're entering another age. You know, we're in the age of Aquarius
now. Yeah, so
we're due. So the polar shift, I think, is kind of overstated by some folks. You know, they say that the North and South poles are going to, you know, swap places and go through the middle of the Earth. It's going to be total catastrophe. I'm not buying that crap. That would be the Earth just literally just blowing itself apart. But if the Earth is doing its wobble on its axis that it does every 13,000 years, because the 3 pole stars you have are Polaris, Vega, and Thuban. So right now,
Subin?
No, the wobble Thuban is always going on. That's the precession.
Are you sure, Mike Tyson?
No, it's Thuban for real. It's
please don't be Thuban.
I believe it's one of the stars in Orion's belt. So that could be what's happening. And if that is happening, I mean, it would be significant changes because it would expose certain parts of the Earth to solar flares that did not previously receive it. You know, so you also have to understand that 80% of the Earth, you know, if the solar flare happens, it doesn't matter because it's either ocean or Siberia. But, you know, a 5-degree tilt in the pole, all of a sudden, where it was hitting Siberia, now it's hitting Beijing.
Okay.
We should have a whole segment devoted to this later because it's
honestly I need visuals because none of this is hitting home for me. I don't really understand most of it.
I'll bring pie charts.
Can we make you stand in front of a weather like green screen and be like, look over to our east.
Yeah, well, that's the point. The visuals and the green screens. Here's something you can understand. In the case of a partial grid down scenario due to a solar flare, and given the current political climate swinging towards a global government,
okay,
just imagine the demagoguery that could happen. You know, oh, it's the Russians. Hey, the Russians knocked out the power grid in Texas.
I agree with this. That you're going to have a lot of like false.
And the average moron's not going to realize because, you know, who wakes up in the morning and checks the space weather?
Do you know that some parts of it that like NASA hosts or whatever have been like shut down over times and stuff? It's like they don't even want you to know the space weather. The few people that are looking, they're having a harder time gathering that information now.
Yeah, I mean, my livelihood relies on GPS working, so I check it. But you know,
yeah, there you go.
Well, y'all need to put some of these articles and things in the Discord so that I can go through them, and so we can actually have a full segment on this next week. Because this is all going way above my head.
So you know you don't even need
the sun's above all our heads.
You don't need Project Bluebeam if the sun does it for you. You know, if the sun's going to knock out the power in a city, and you know, granted, they're going to know it within a 60% window, maybe a week in advance. So it's not going to be something that they're going to plan and orchestrate. But you know, it's one of those things they could certainly capitalize on it. You know, never let a crisis go to waste.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think we're getting a lot of like weird misinformation about like climate catastrophe and stuff that's going to be pointing toward like the global warming thing instead of this, or like pointing toward Russia instead of this, or whatever. When I really,
especially when we know multiple nations now are involved in weather modification programs through their military.
Yeah.
I mean, we are for sure.
Yeah,
we've been for a long time. Yeah, now we've also got like the Emirates or Saudi or whatever
publicly admitted since 1996 when we put the HARP array in Gacona, Alaska.
Okay, we're going to talk about this in one full segment for 30-40 minutes next week. Okay, because this is a lot. We need visuals, otherwise it just sounds like a bunch of words and I can't keep up.
It's words. Yeah.
All right, well, I know Zach's got to go to propaganda report here in a minute, so we're just going to
that's tonight. Nice.
Yeah, it's back-to-back.
We got invited too, right?
Yeah, we got invited.
I think it starts at 10:30.
10:30. Yeah. Well, I want a pee break and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's watch some funny videos
and then pee break.
Yeah. Brian, yes, we're gonna have 4 of the Libations crew at the convention. So I'm gonna try to set up some type of special live stream. I'm hoping. I've heard a rumor of there being press tables in another room for the Trump deal, which would be super fun to do a live commentary on the Trump speech.
Oh yeah.
So maybe we can get that set up. I don't know what the qualifications are for that, but maybe we'll try to set that up because that would be incredible. All right, y'all. Tonight's episode sponsored by Rabbit Eye Wine, the blueberryest wine in all of Georgia. Go get you some. You can also go to our website, peacefulseed.network, to buy some of our sweet new merch. Steven's wearing one of the shirts right now. Oh. I've got our pint glass, Liberty Libations, which says, in wine there is wisdom, in beer there is freedom, in water there is bacteria.
Actually, in my beer there's also bacteria, but
that's fair.
Yeah.
Go get yourself some merch. We got some great things on there, so go get you some. And we're gonna end the show with watching a few funny videos, and then we're gonna get out of here. And I guess you can go find at least 2 of us over on Propaganda Report here in about 32 minutes.
If someone walks me through how to do that, then I might join you. If it involves being on Discord, you can go fuck off.
Fair enough. All right, here we go. So for context, this guy is doing this to a escape room company.
Oh.
He goes and locks the door, puts the padlock on it, and then full of clues with how to unlock the lock at an escape room.
That's pretty funny. I mean, like, what a turd of a human, but like, that's funny.
Dude, that's so
both can be true.
That's so good. Like,
what an asshole, and also my hero.
Yeah, I mean, that's incredible.
What could those clues possibly say? It's locked from the outside.
No, the padlock was hanging on the inside.
He put it. He swung it in.
Swung it through the door before he shut it. Yeah, he did it right. You know, he did it right.
Yeah.
All right. I just
keep a Dremel inside your office so you can just like cut that thing off every time. Like,
yeah, exactly. All right, here we go.
Girls, what's just happened?
So, there's an ice cream van there selling just 2 ice creams with 2 chewing gums in it.
Yeah.
For bloody £9 for 2 of them.
£9 for 2?
Yeah, £9. That is going to get nowhere. One that comes with my street is either £1 a pee or £2. Like, he's going to get nowhere with that.
No, he ain't.
No, he ain't.
That's well bad, isn't it?
He should know. And he only does
they
bloody
should know.
I'm there with my cat. Bloody hell.
That's well bad, isn't it?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, Betty can hear
Hermione
me.
Gangster.
Oh,
Yeah, she is all revved up about her ice cream.
Man,
that was unbelievable.
This is inflation is reaching the little ones now. You know,
seriously, they're understanding what.
Oh, the comment, Hermione gangster.
That's what I was saying. Yeah,
that's so good.
Yeah.
All right, here's another
hilarious.
So this one might actually get us a copyright infringement, but whatever.
Yeah, but it's baby.
Hallelujah, but baby got back.
I like big butts, I cannot lie. You other brothers can't deny. When around things in your face, you get sprung. When a girl walks in, you pull up tough. 'Cause you noticed that her butt was stuffed. My homeboys tried to warn me. I seen her dancing. To hell with romancing. Baby got back.
This guy's losing it.
Oh, baby got back.
I mean,
that's like screaming.
That's a good one of those.
Yeah, that's a good one. AI stuff's incredible.
Ridiculous, yeah.
Here's a husky living his best life.
Yeah.
That's moody.
I mean, he literally.
Nice. I like it.
Actually, kind of sounds good in a weird way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adele's going to turn this into a song. So
that goes on for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
And this one was literally just for Alden, and a little bit of Steve, and a little bit of Steve too. This is stormtroopers talking about the Death Star.
All right, now here we go. I read the engineering. Okay, there was no way one X-wing could have taken this thing out. Okay. No way. It had to be a controlled demolition.
Connor, nobody wants to hear this.
You're blind. You are blind, sir. You're blind.
Whatever.
You're all a bunch of drones.
Hey, keep your voice down.
You're drones, especially the drones.
Cool it. All right.
Now let me go.
It had to be a controlled demolition.
Had to be a controlled demolition.
I never thought of that. That's actually fucking hilarious. Oh my god.
That's so good. That's so good. Y'all, this has been Liberty Libations number 75. It's wild to think that like Rogan's been on the air for almost 2,200 episodes.
Wow,
3 hours long each. So I mean,
I'm not even gonna live that long.
Jones one was like 6 hours long.
Yeah,
like it's crazy.
Which one was 6?
The first Alex Jones one he did was like 5.5 5 minutes. Yeah. Alex Jones just wouldn't stop talking.
Is that the one where he took his shirt off at the end and went crazy? Or is,
oh yeah, it's Eddie Bravo, choke me out.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know what we're going to do for episode 100. We've got about 25
Our
weeks
centennial.
inside. So
we'll keep it 100. That's for sure.
That's literally half a year away.
I think it's pronounced Hunnet when you had to say it that way.
I'm pretty excited for episode 96 just because I missed 69, and I feel like that's got to be something. You know, I don't know what that would be, but
really reaching there.
Just reverse spooning. I don't know.
Why did 69 become the thing and not 96?
Probably because
of the way that they look.
96 is much
They're
less
like interconnected.
Fun.
Yeah. Well, talk to Harrison Butker.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, 96 is pretty uneventful.
Yeah,
no
children.
children.
You do a 96 all day.
No children.
96 is like people laying with their butts on each other's heads.
Yeah, just
sounds like
farting on each other's hair.
I'm
fully
all right, y'all. Apparently, a few of us are going to go over and be on the propaganda report here in a minute. So go over there, tune in.
What are you guys talking about? Is there topics at all? Or?
Sounds like we're talking about Libertarian Convention. It's coming up next week.
Oh, okay. Because if it was like 9/11, I'd have to find a way to sneak in there. But
no,
I don't have much to add.
Brad's show is extremely topical, so we don't do. I don't think he does very many where he talks about old conspiracy theories out of nowhere.
It's very current. Like, yeah. We leave that to us. We'll do that. We'll dig up 24-year-old.
Yeah,
we should find the conspiracy possible. That's still somewhat interesting.
Yeah. Tune in next
week. Are there
for
any
John
ancient
Ramsey.
Roman ones?
Well, y'all, next
I'll
week,
think about it.
I think Zach, Zane, and Nick will all be indisposed at the LP convention already. I will still be. Oh, you're going to be here?
I'll be here. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm not leaving until Friday morning.
Oh, me too. Okay, cool. Okay, so it's probably going to be the 4 of us again. So if you in the audience can handle me and Alden and Steven and Zach being on screen for another 2 hours, then make sure you tune in next week, 8 p.m. Eastern, preferably on Rumble, but YouTube is fine. Twitter's great.
Are we going to talk about the sun?
If you and Steven put links and good things in the Discord this week, I will make a whole segment about
You're making me use the Discord.
The Discord is the only way we're conversing anymore. Okay, Signal's done. Just because. Yes.
So I can delete that app. Perfect.
No, don't delete the app because we still use it for fantasy football.
See? So now you've made me get one more app in my life.
That's how they get you. That's how they get you.
I can't wait to have you get another app. I'm so excited.
No, I don't like it. I miss my flip phone.
It's fun. Hannah had to drop out for an hour and said it's funny missing an hour of the show and trying to make sense of the chat. The son is the CIA op. Yeah, I could be.
Yeah.
I believe it. Alden probably thinks that, at least on some subconscious level.
I think the CIA is doing pre-programming with Hollywood about the sun.
And finally, Zach went back to his real background.
We know that's where he lives. Yeah.
All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. We love doing this show. It's been an interesting transition leaving the Libertarian Party platforms to come over to our own private thing. But we're allowed to say a lot more and do a lot more than what we were able to before. And we're not going to get the LP channels banned because of things we say. So
vagina.
And Zach can flip off the camera and not get in trouble. All right, y'all. Make sure there will be a Free Georgia podcast this week. And now that I said that, there probably won't be, but there will be. So make sure to tune in Monday night, 8 p.m. on all Peaceful Sea channels and all Libertarian Party of Georgia channels for Free Georgia podcast. You can also tune into the Wrexham Texan this Sunday, where I'm going to be analyzing season 3, episode 1 of Welcome to Wrexham. All right, y'all. That'll do it for this week's episode. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Cheers.